Alrighty.
All right, I already started. I asked for adopt the agenda. Mr. Nyberg, all in favor?
Can we adopt it with the amended?
Well, we'll take it with the minutes too.
No,
No, with
amended
amended.
to drop Pam off.
Drop Pam.
We had was part of our ASB meeting.
That's not part of it. It's all nothing to do with ASB. Yeah, and we adopted the minutes or
As amended.
as presented. All in favor? Carried. Adopt the minutes from the last meeting of August 25th. Need a mover? Les,
I will move the minutes to be adopted.
any questions on the minutes?
On page 5, there was a period missing.
Okay, all in favor? Thank you. He's prime now. Election time, what it is. Okay, and we had our delegation of Pam.
Kelly, ready to go?
Kelly is ready, Kelly Jackson, ready to go?
I am ready to go, and I apologize on the video front. Having some of those streaming issues that I freeze up as soon as there's more than one video on the screen. So I do apologize for that. But thank you for having me.
Carry on.
Introductions?
Introductions. We'll start at Marlene.
Ernie Gender, board member.
Bree Needs, board member.
Dave Grover, Chair.
Wayne Nixon, board member. Les Stuhlberg, board member.
James Nyberg, board member.
Quentin Beaumont, Manager of Agricultural Operations.
Rick Green, Director of Operations. Richard Brishick, Director of Municipal Services. Larry Clark, Board Member.
Great to meet you all. I hope one day soon it'll be in person. So thank you for having me. As Quentin, thank you for forwarding the information to me on the meeting and a little bit about what you want me to talk about. So, and introducing myself, as I'm Kelly Jackson, most of the time up to when we had the stay-at-home work orders, I work out of the Airdrie office. So as you know, we went from the key contact program to the regional liaison approach. So that means we have the 5 regions and we have various staff assigned to the regions. So I will have this, all the ASBs in the central region. So that means that for me, my approach is that I want to have regular contact with the boards and with the fieldmen. So I am looking to set up something. I'll have to work with the fieldmen, whether it's going to be every month or every 2 months, that we have a group kind of chat, hear about the issues. I would like to get, over the course of the year, I would like to get to meet with boards at least once or twice in person. And I will be attending the regional meeting this year that's going to be hosted in Basha. So looking forward to that as well. In addition to having the contact with the regional contacts, we also have the what we're looking at, a quarterly newsletter to kind of aggregate information and get that out to all of the ASBs. And we will also have the biannual town halls with our ADM John Conrad hosting those. So the next one, I think we have a hold the date set up for November after all the regionals are through. So hopefully that will go smoothly there. So any questions on the regional liaison program, the approach, any issues or concerns? Because really we're another level of that conduit to tell you what's happening, programs that might be interested in, any kind of updates, things like that. As well as if you have any kind of question that I can't answer, I can bring it back and I can look for those answers and get back to you.
James?
Hey, Kelly, can you kind of give us a little bit about your background, how you started
Sure.
the agriculture?
Yeah. Okay. So I've been with the department now for 10 years. And I started out in the business development. So I had the specialty crops and horticulture sectors that I worked with. We had a reorganization, and then I went into the crop health assurance, which we now are the crop assurance and rural programming branch. So my director's Marcia Hewitt-Fisher, and I, at the time when they were doing the ASB program review, I started working with Doug and Alan to help with that program review. And since then, a lot of my work is focused on helping out with them. So I have been involved in the field visits for a couple of years. I have been doing the reporting for the annual reports that you put in for the grant program. I have helped with the webinars that we've had to, bring information sort of in the spring, winter, and fall. And just helping out wherever I can with the program. So I have become more and more involved. The other things that I work on are various policy aspects under Marcia and some federal, provincial, territorial committee work. And what I also have is the evaluation components. So when we get those reportings, creating those visual kind of infographics that translate the value of what we do and what you guys do, so that we can report up on that in an effective way. So making that information easy to understand and digest. So that's kind of a nutshell of kind of the areas that I've been working on and my connections in with the Ag Service Board. So I've just become more and more involved because it's boots on the ground. It's, really our best connection to what's going on. Yeah.
Who you got? Larry?
Yeah, you might have said this, but in Central Region, how many service boards are you dealing with there, like to make those trips?
14. 14.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Wayne?
Morning, Kelly. I guess my question is, how are you going to deal with some specifics when whether you call, when you contact our meetings in Zoom or in person or anything? Because I think that's pretty important to the people sitting around the table. For the crops, the prices, the hay prices, the rainfall, all those kind of things that we've been kind of used to in the past with one of our local people, Barry MCO was the person that come in every month or so to keep us up to date on those. So I think it's more kind of a boots on the ground thing that we're looking for, and I would hope that would continue to some extent.
It would be our intention as well. I know each of the regions, the liaisons may have different approaches. Mine, because I am more integrated in with the ASB unit, is to have that more direct approach. I find it I don't know how we do what we do without having those connections with you and being able to bring information to you. We have, like you said, we have lost so many of our staff that we relied on, and I'll just be really honest, it's really hard, frustrating. I don't really have the best descriptor when I look at the information that we could provide to what we can now. So we do struggle with that. So getting that relevancy, getting that connection, I hope that over time I can build that trust and then we can have those relationships that are really meaningful, because that's what's critical to me. This is a relationship, and it is embodied in legislation, but it is about having that communication within the groups.
I'm happy to hear that. Thank you.
Shree, you're up next, and then Quentin.
Hi, Kelly, this is Shree. Just wondering, you said you're coming to Bashaw for our next meeting. Just wondering what kind of reports are you working on now that you're going to be bringing there?
Well, thank you for saying that. So we are looking to do kind of an overview of all of the region reporting. So we have one more report we're waiting to get in, and then we'll be able to get a summary out there. The other thing we want to do a little update on is there's been some changes to our the way we do the field visits to make it more useful for the ex-service boards as to what things they're focused on and how they're doing. So we want to give a little update on that aspect of it. And I believe Doug and Alan are also going to look at the board orientation and to kind of bring that up. And then, of course, on the resolutions. That's what I've learned so far is what they're working on.
Okay, thank you.
Quentin?
I guess just a follow-up with what Mr. Nixon was asking. I mean, Kelly said she's going to be able to try and make 2 or 3 meetings a year, but we'll be in contact all the time. So if she can't attend a meeting, I will have some sort of a report from her on a regular basis to keep us in the loop, right? And we can all be communicating all the time to get, if there's questions we have, reports we're after, I can work with her on those details. If she can't attend, at least have something from her.
Did we have a meeting every month? Not 3 times a year. Anybody else? Anything else, Kelly?
No, Quentin, were your topics addressed through that? I know you had asked about the drought, conditions. We have been tracking those, and with Linda, they have been put on to the provincial, the ASB website. And so that should be up to date as to what's going on and the programs that have been announced. All of that information has been aggregated there.
Yeah, the only thing I was hoping you could reply on would be our ASB Regional Conference Resolution Report Card. If you can kind of attempt to just explain how it's sitting for this year going into the regional meeting coming up.
So the summary from the previous years has been posted. So that is up there of what has been accepted and is incomplete. My understanding from talking to the various ASBs is that they are in the process of getting resolutions written. There are some that are looking at the resolution process itself, and that what has been communicated to me on that is that has to be changes to the actual committee policies in how resolutions are reviewed and presented. So that's kind of where I know where things are at right now.
Is that
So Kelly,
Ernie?
we have a YouTube channel that we have, and you could have a look at how Barry presented to us in the past. Not that you have to be that person, but it'll give you an idea of what we're kind of used to. Maybe Quentin could line you up to have a look at how he presented to us and how those meetings went in the past.
Sure.
It might be a little bit of an insight of how this group works a little bit, or
No, I'd appreciate that, because each one are going to want different things, and we'll try to adapt the best we can.
Good. Ernie's up next.
Kelly, it's Ernie Genders. Like this fall, I've had an awful lot of approaches. Okay, are there any programs available for dugouts? So like, it's just one that, I don't know, like, there used to be one that, or I believe that there's still one that there's regulation size and all the criteria. So is there any number that you can pass me, and name a number that I can pass on to, for folks to build a contact about that?
Yeah, I'm hearing things on that. I know that Environment and Parks had a temporary one for the drought that would enable livestock producers to get through there. Do you have that information, or?
No, like I used to get a hold of, say, like when they had the regulation size, but that kind of went wayside on it.
Yeah, okay. So you're looking for things that aren't drought related to programs for dugouts, anything that way?
Yes.
Okay, I don't know of any that are open right at the moment, but I will look at, into what's happening with those programs, and I will get back to Quentin to give you that information.
Okay, because in the past, like, they had to say that it had to be a regulation size of 2,000 cubic meters. But then, like, I was able to talk to someone down in Red Deer about 10 years ago. They allowed smaller dugouts because of smaller pastures.
Yeah.
So like a lot of these, I guess, I'm just looking for some information that I can pass on, please.
Sure can. I can definitely look into it and see what the status of any of those programs are. If we have any open at the time, or what that future is going to look like in that area.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, and just to clarify, so this is, the questions you're getting asked are more about the non-regulation sized?
No, it's just, are there funds available for dugouts, and what size, what criteria really is required?
Okay. Thank you very much. I'll look into that, and I'll get back to Quentin with that.
Thank you.
When I find out.
Wait.
Yes, Wayne Nixon here, Kelly, and I'm part of the Ag Service Board Provincial Committee. And so we have been actually going over some changes that we might see in the Constitution, I guess, and the rating of resolutions. So, but it's kind of a slow process, so it'll have to be taken back to the main body at our annual general meeting at our next conference. So it could be a year or two in the making, but it is trying to align ourselves, I guess, more with the RMA. So that's right. It is in the process.
Okay, yeah, I just heard the different ones are looking at that to put motions forward to investigate, or not investigate, but to look at what those criteria would be if you want to change how things are done. So it's good to hear that way.
The Zoom or virtual meeting sometimes didn't work that well when presenting resolutions or speaking to them. So it was a bit of a process. So trying to streamline things a little bit.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. We're all learning to do things a little differently nowadays.
Anyone else got a question for her? I have one. I'm Dave Grower, board member. This cow program that come out, is that second half of the cow payment for bred livestock? Is it going to be here, or is it not? It's a federal thing, is it not, or is it?
It's a federal program, yes.
And is it not getting paid out till the end of the year after everybody's bought their feed already?
That's
or now, just a minute, or now the election's over, it doesn't matter.
I couldn't address that.
Okay.
My understanding was that, yes, there would be that second payment that would be kind of retroactive after all the dust is settled.
Is their first payments already out, Dave?
Some first payments are already up, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you didn't get yours?
No. It's, it's fairly fast. One come back in 3 days. One guy put it in.
If you already had an account set up.
Yeah, don't set up. So, but I was just wondering about the third one, or the $107, the second one, because there was a rumor that it wasn't gonna come out, and it's not come out till the end of the year. At the end of the year, if you're sourcing feed for those red livestock, that's a little late, is all.
Okay, I'll bring that back to the ones that are sitting kind of, we have a seat at the table listening to a lot of these things. So I'll bring that comment back to them.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else? When?
Maybe you spent that 610 million.
Yeah, it should be.
Thank you, Kelly.
Thanks, Kelly, for your time.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'd like you to come to this, talk to this board as many times as you can. That'd be great.
Oh, I sure would appreciate that, and I will endeavor to get to as many as possible.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Kelly.
Have a good day.
Dave, you should invite her for lunch next time.
Oh, yeah, you come have lunch.
Hey, that's the thing about the face-to-face that you miss, is when you can't do
Well-
that's when the real conversations happen.
That is right.
That was
Yeah.
Quentin doing that, so.
Alrighty, well, thank you so much, and if there ever is anything, we don't have to wait for a meeting, just, let Quentin know and shoot me a question, and I'll certainly try and get back to you as soon as possible with answers.
That's good news. Thank you.
Okay, thank you,
Have a good day.
bye.
Okay. Now we move on to number 5.
All right, so
Go ahead, Quentin.
club route inspections, full swing. Actually, now we are done. Our club route inspections. One lab tested positive for the year. So that fun gets to start.
Good though, eh? Just one?
Yeah, now, club root loves warm, moist conditions, so finding club root in a drought year is tougher than a normal year. I was actually shocked to find the one field. I didn't think we'd find any. But every stock we pulled was visually positive. So the infestation, the amount of infestation is bad. There's lots of it. But the infestation scale that they use, it's still low infestation. The galls aren't big. They're small galls, but they were on every plant we picked.
We can get enough water to make them.
3,000 or 3,050 stocks we would have pulled. Every one of them.
Everyone had one.
Every one of them was.
So with that good rotation where it was club root, snow, and then club root?
Well, I can go back and look because, as you know, we do crop inventory every year. I haven't done that look yet to see what I've done that since 2012. I mark down whether it's a cereal, whether it's a canola, pea, or a pasture. Every year we do that. So I'll know what his rotation was since 2012.
You won't know whether it's a club root resistant type that was seeded until you talk to them.
Not till I talk to him. I haven't. I wanted to get the rest of the inspections done yet, so that's the next goal, is to try not to hang around, but sit down and talk to him and find out what his rotation was, what the variety was he used, and then we can't use that variety for 4 years. We'll see how it goes. Sometimes it's a fairly easy conversation. Other times they're spitting that. There's not much you can do about it, right? So it's, what do you do?
So,
Go ahead,
guys that
James.
plant canola, when do you typically buy it? Are you buying it already?
Some may.
I would hate for this individual to not have the opportunity to buy.
They're not going to have it in their
If he
bin.
needs to or change up what he's got to do, right?
They won't have it in stock yet. They may have put money down to purchase, but they won't pick their bags up till January, February.
Okay, fair
And
enough.
I didn't know why.
Okay, wait, now you got
Mr.
it.
Chairman, through to Quentin, are you saying that every sample has some, club root galls on it? Every sample that you picked?
Out of this field, yeah.
Oh, just that field?
Just that field.
Okay, I thought maybe you were saying every field.
No.
No.
This particular quarter section, when we did, because the new standard is you walk, you pull up to the gate that looks the most
Mhm.
visibly used, and you pull 50 stalks at the gate. So what that means is, within the area where the cedar comes in and unfolds, that's the gate. We walk in and I tell my staff, this is what we look for. We pull 50 stalks. If there's nothing visual, inspection's done. Mark is complete, move on. If you find some galling, now you start your W pattern where you walk in 100 steps. And you take 50 samples, and you walk 100 steps and take 50 samples, and you change direction, and you change direction, and you change direction. So you have done 10 spots. So it's 1,000 stocks, not 3,000. And every sample we did on that field, because that was the one I was showing the crew what to do on, I was right there with them. Here, you pull 15, you pull 15, you pull 15, I'll pull 5, and there's our 50. And good. These all look, this is what we're looking for. This is not good. EP's here, let's go this way. Then we take a few from each of our sites, Ziploc bag them, send them off to 2020 Seed Labs, pay $107, and wait 10 days and get a result.
So is there, you say there's a scale of.
Yeah, there's a formula you're supposed to use from the province. I don't have that in here, but it's the sizing of the gulls, the amount of stalks that were visually positive, gives you a number, 1 through 4.
To the severity of the.
Yeah. And so I'll report that to the province and to the University of Alberta, who keep track of all this stuff, and then they watch what our severities are doing, how infested, or how popular it is in our area and our field, and kind of track it that way.
Thank you.
I had my one neighbor, he phoned me, you guys were in his field, and he wondered if you had permission to be, you guys didn't have permission to be in there.
We do.
But you can go, I told him you can go anywhere, and usually you try to, you usually get a hold of the farmer before you go in? Don't have to, because you're a weed person and you can go wherever you want to go. I explained that to him.
Appointed under the Alberta Pest Act, the same thing, appointed under the Alberta Weed Act. We have every right to enter a field at any reasonable hour. So I feel you as a farmer are working 6 till 6, I'm good 6 till 6. I know you guys work longer hours than that, so I feel a reasonable hour, 7 till 4, I'm good. I would have to employ 2 or 3 staff to make phone calls.
No, I realized that, I just thought that, I just bring that.
And then they would say, no, you can go in anyways.
And the other side of it,
We go in.
they're random inspections. We're not supposed to plan out the fields we're going to.
That's what I told him, I said, it's just random.
Yeah.
Not
I have
picking
to
on
get a
you.
24-hour notice if I want to go into your barn or into your shop or something. I have to give 24-hour notice. I don't know why I'd want to go in there unless you're trying to grow
Well,
Jameson weed on the side for whatever reason.
that's a different kind of weed usually.
And I'm not after that one.
Not anymore.
Not during-
Yeah, no, it's legal, you're growing all over.
Big samples.
Okay, perfect.
Grasshopper survey is now complete. And our biggest grasshopper, most popular grasshopper is a 2-stripe grasshopper. And the average grasshopper found at any given square meter was 2. So extremely low. The threshold starts at 7 and goes up.
Not enough water for them either.
Right. Like I said, that's just our average was 2. And we're still on your average cycle. I think we're 3 years away from having a
An infestation.
bad year.
That's-
How many sites in the county did you check out?
So we do 2 sites per township, 1 road and 1 field. And at the road spot, we check 5 spots within the 100 steps. And in the field, we do 5 spots within 100 steps. 2 fields per township, or 2 locations per township, 1 field, 1 road.
And then I'm assuming they were probably more heavily infested in the southeast.
That's what I was wondering, you were wondering.
I would have to go back and look, but actually I think we were looking kind of that halfway between Endiang and Gadsby was kind of our heavy area. Kind of that central east end of the county.
There's nothing to eat.
James, our last year done, are you?
Yes, thanks.
James, you're up.
So does the province still have a bug collector?
Yeah.
Shelley Barkley is still our bug
Or
person.
are a student this year? Because usually in the past, I know we've had, like, even based out of this particular year off.
I haven't had anybody based out of here for 5 years. I don't know if she was able to hire seasonals out of the Brooks office or not. I know there were some hired out of the Olds office for pest surveillance, so they would have been doing more club route stuff. And then there were some in Edmonton, but I don't know about Brooks.
I know Justina did both CDC North and South, so she was across the province.
Ernie, you're up. And Wayne.
The type that fly, do they have any relation to Red Bull? Did they give them wings? Yeah, there's some huge grasshoppers, like they fly, like they're huge.
Well, they float in the air. Their wings aren't like bird wings. They get a good jump and their wings can get them going, but they rely on wind.
Maybe thinking about the praying, isn't praying mantis or whatever, that other one that actually, what's the other one that kills grasshoppers here? We do have them once in a while.
Yeah, very few.
Okay. But only these suckers.
Because like you can hear them, like they're making a noise. They're not just gliding.
No, they're flapping, but they're not very effective wings. They can't go very far distance. They gotta rely on wind.
They'll go 40, 50 feet.
Yeah.
I tried chasing them. Get that.
Yeah, that hard up for something to eat out there or what?
The legs.
Chocolate,
Sorry, Mike.
I'm just wondering if you do checks up in the northeast part of the county too, up towards the river.
For grasshoppers?
We
Grasshoppers.
do the entire county. Every township is touched.
Because the field that well, there's several fields we hay up there on the northeast end of the county. And the infestation is probably dozens per square. So that they must not be a very harmful type of grasshopper.
Other grasshoppers, we're not worried about them. Those ones eat your grass, but we don't care kind of thing. There are 4 we look for, and there's like 24 that can be,
They're okay.
they're not designated as a nuisance or a pest. So we still count them, but they fall under other categories, so I couldn't even tell you how many. And you might have lucked out, we may not have done your field, we may have done one 2 miles away, the chances that day didn't have any.
And I don't know they do that much harm, but they're just, when you walk out in the field, they're just flying everywhere.
How many years? There's 27 different kinds of grasshoppers or something like that?
There's a bunch.
Ernie's up there. Right, or no,
Larry wanted.
very much, okay.
Hey, just on that, what defines severity though? Because those little buggers gotta eat to stay alive too. So like I know Wayne, I had a hayfield like that too, and you'd step out of the tractor or the raking or whatever, and it was just like they went every direction. So.
I thought you had too many chickens out of your country.
Well, no, the chickens are in the pen.
So you didn't come to the chicken,
Bad joke.
you didn't come to the chicken fry?
Loose though.
Yeah, no, they clean up the grasshoppers, I guess, but we'd have to have a lot more chickens.
Talk to your neighbors.
You ready, you want them?
Yeah, I have a different question, has nothing to do with grasshoppers.
Oh, you can't do
I
that.
don't know when you want to.
Talk about that.
We can't until we're done with grasshoppers.
Okay, I just wanted to say.
Okay, you'll be up next. We're done on the grasshoppers, we've done them? Quentin, good? Go ahead.
Mine's raccoons. Do we have a lot of raccoons in the area? Because I haven't seen them in years until this year.
Well, there's a few.
I've been getting raccoon sighting calls for the last, actually, I think I got my first, we're still in this yard, so we're going on 5-6 years of raccoon sightings. I've never personally seen a raccoon. We've set traps out. There's guys shooting them. I don't know if we have a problem, but they're definitely here. Definitely here.
We're down at the lake, Erskine Lake by Janesville.
I've
I saw one.
got some Hutterite colonies that are setting traps that they're into their compost pile where they're throwing their daily vegetable tops. I've got Denelda country by the ski hill. I'm getting reports. Not Erskine Lake.
I just-
but
I just saw it.
Coolidge area. I'm getting calls.
Yeah.
They're here. They're here. They've been here for years.
I've lucked out. I've never seen one, but I've definitely seen the tracks. I'm not a very good trapper. We're setting box traps because that's the best thing that we have to try and catch a raccoon, other than anybody using a shotgun on their property. They're here.
Yeah.
For sure they're here.
So, a neighbor of mine who does he's a legal trapper, I think he works occasionally for the county as well, has trapped them, and right across from the lake. I've seen them in my house, or my place. They were apparently moving through because they were on their way to somewhere else. We put up some cameras to see if we could catch him, but he didn't stick around, I guess. My dog chased him on, but I do know the neighbor just down the way. Like I said, a friend of mine who does work for the county occasionally has trapped them around that lake, just on a private system.
Yeah,
But they're there, and the skunk trap works quite well on the smaller ones. Yeah. He picked up one that was close to 30 pounds. The individual wanted it to be taken to the nature reserve, and he did. It was part of his deal.
accidentally dropped it in the barrel.
No, he does as he is told, as the trapper license tells him to.
He wouldn't have imported any just so he'd have them to drop.
He would love one. He wants one. But he hasn't got one for his own yet. So.
Okay. All right.
All right.
We're done with their outfit. They're out of here. They've been here before we moved from Bangor. Paul Paulson seen one down there, so that's 36, 7 years ago.
Don't kid yourself. They're a menace. My sister-in-law she lives out at Sundre, and when they come in, they're crazy. They're just
Wrecked up and
yeah. They're sure are cute to look at, but boy, I tell you, they are a rodent.
Yeah.
Number one population of raccoons, City of Toronto.
All right.
Fun fact for North American raccoons. I did look it up because
Okay.
How did they deal with it there, James?
not well, apparently.
Okay, they've got raccoons problems, we've got gopher problems.
Yeah,
They couldn't kill them. Just leave them multiply some more.
No comment on that.
Brenton.
So we're still running our spray trucks, taking some brush sites, last minute brush sites. These are the ratepayer request, or the brush site numbers, different sites that we have.
Were they ones that we already brushed like
Yeah,
that? You were saying?
this is stuff that, as long as I've got about 1.5 to 2 foot of brush coming up, I've got enough leafage there for a spray, so.
But it's with our brushing program that you're working on.
So I'll complete these, and then Rick's guys will go out and chew them down. Some of the stuff we can hit with the roadside mowers. And, we've got about 35 left to just double check. And there's a pile that we keep checking on. We don't call them complete because if there's no growth yet, next year there might be some growth, so they sit in a pause state until 3 years, right? So we got that kind of wrapping up.
We got one question, I think, on the roadside.
Yeah, a question and a comment. I had one ratepayer out in my area thank us for how starting to cut ditches again with rotary mowers. Because, we've had a lot of conversations about width of headers. And this individual said he's had the same width of header for the last 12 years, and he's had problems the last few years with them. So he said with the coons, you could see where people would go around those trees. Whereas now with the new mowers, they're mowing him, and he said, yeah, I can go down that road now. So he was very appreciative of what we were doing with our mowing, so.
Good deal.
Agree.
Can we just expand on the pathway repairs underway in the lake? What's all going on?
So the pathway that goes along the lake, it's growing rocks that are tripping people, so we're popping out the ones that are big enough that are causing tripping hazards, filling them in with some soil, and then the other thing that'll happen after frost, when we get some snow and some downtime, we'll go through, I've marked a bunch of trees for removal. We're just gonna fall them, we'll bulk them into 10-foot chunks and leave them in the reserve to decompose. So that's what we're doing there. We kind of got beat out. We were on this, I don't even know, 3 weeks ago, I think we went up to do some pathway repair. You guys got some wasps up there. So we're gonna wait till they're a little
Will they bite?
Holy cow, our guys were just getting hit. So, yeah, we'll come back, but we should be later this week and next week, we should be good to go back up and continue some of that work. I can cut in on that if that's
Go
all
ahead,
right.
Rick.
Yeah, one of the conversations we probably want to have, maybe specifically on the lakeside path up the lake, is we can't get anything in there. Like the pathways are so narrow. So we're talking about maybe widening them out to generally 6 feet this winter, so that if we have to get material to cover up rocks and things like that, we can actually get in there without any more than a wheelbarrow. Because we have a long way to go with material, and it takes forever to solve those little problems. Where if we can actually run something in there with a bit of a trailer, things will go a lot faster. So one of the things we're talking about is maybe widening those pathways out a little bit, at least from the tree perspective anyways, for better access.
Wouldn't need
Good.
much. We're talking about 1.5 feet.
Sometimes you got it, sometimes you don't. Tree here, 4 trees there, that kind of thing, right? Just depending on where you gotta get around, so.
Okay. Sounds like you got it under control, eh?
Working on it, yeah.
Perfect.
Now, is that on, along the Bayview side?
No, this is down towards the lake more.
Well, I meant that area, like not scenic sands, not.
Correct. Yeah,
We're not doing scenic sand.
essentially
You don't know
going from,
It's where we walked, right, Rick? When we went on that pathway walk, the one I saw the rocks.
I'm not sure I was on that walk.
Leaves.
Down below Buffalo View Estates in the old bowl in there?
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
Yeah.
Problem is a lot of those sites are,
Yeah, it's me and
you
Jacinta.
gotta get material in there to cover them up, because you're gonna keep getting rocks come up, they're up all the time.
Yeah.
So,
Take a hammer and pound them down.
modified post on her.
Hey, you got it.
material in there a little bit better, I think, and that might help.
Hey, James on,
So we'll just back up a little bit on the roadside mowing. What did you guys, as from both Quentin and Rick, when you guys, I just got to see the video of that reclaimer and then the mower. What was your guys' thoughts, and any of the counselors that saw it? Who here saw it?
This is,
You're talking about the grader mower?
Yeah.
I didn't get to go. What did you guys think?
I was
I
really.
think we need to own one of that mowers. James, because well, it's like the old, it's like, oh, I'm sure, I guess I can do that. Eh? It spins out and puts all that stuff, like the ones we have today are good mowers. And them two we bought are good mowers, but they leave 3 feet of grass on the road because they throw it back out from the mower. That one there throws it in the ditch.
So, and I seen the reclaimer where they were taking the edge of the road and claiming it back onto.
And it brought some gravel back up and chewed that other stuff up really good so that the wind come along and blow it away.
So I have an individual who I'm good friends with that works for Nehill County, and he does that. So they have one unit, and every grader operator gets to use it in the spring, and he's very impressed with it. And I think that's the right.
I was really impressed with the reclaimer and really impressed with that mower. The mower I was more impressed with because if we leave 3 feet of grass back out on the road with these other mowers, you know, in some places they
Pretty thick grass too.
well, and then, but when you go to take the grader guy comes along, he pushes the grass off, how much rocks go back into the ditch, eh? That's all. Okay, start, Sheree.
I really like that gravel reclaimer, how it really picked up the rocks in the ditch and put it back in. So I think that would save the county money in the long run to put the gravel back on the road where it's supposed to be. It was very impressive.
That was saying,
Go ahead, Ernie.
the biggest part is say like when you've got it on a wing, like if they come to a non-slope, they drag it back onto it. So we've seen so many places where the grass is. The grader can stay and keep it hung over there and it can kick it into it. With the reclaimer, like I measured it off, they brought enough gravel up onto say at least an inch thick and about 2.5 feet wide. Pure gravel.
And it looks to me like they're knocking the limbs off with that, right?
Yes.
And that's been a bone of contention for many years.
Like I would look at that, if we did have the budget, I would darn near look at two systems. One, say like with the mower, and then one with the reclaimer. So you can go down a section of road and instead of changing back and forth, but that'll be for the public works in order to see whether we can put it in the budget for the next council.
Larry.
And I guess as he was doing it, part of it, he used the reclaimer, and then another part he cut up with the grader. And then there was a unit on the front of the grader, like a little bit heavier unit than the one on the side. And he, you can bring dirt up, definitely. And you can bring a bit of a mess up if you'd like to. So it would really depend on operators also.
So there's some training that have to, that's cool.
But stuff with it too, James, that's Maine, Saskatchewan, but they make everything there. They even make the bolts there if they want to, if they need to. And what did he say, that one had been on that one machine for how long?
That was like his first one, yeah.
First one they made, it's still on there.
So it'll stay in our country when we separate, is what you're saying.
30 years.
But what I'm saying is there'd be no, but there's no problem with parts. And that's a big thing today. Like I went to get it started from a tractor and, what was it?
3 months to look
3
at the
months.
parts.
So you're gonna leave it set there for 3 months and not use it? This here, they make all the parts there for it. Go ahead, Rick.
Got a few things to say regarding that whole thing and some other stuff I've been looking at lately. Regarding that one supplier that came out here, I think I might have mentioned it to you the other day. I haven't heard boo from them since, and I'd asked them for pricing on all the implements. They said they'd get back to me in a week. Haven't heard boo. No email, no phone, no nothing. So just so you're aware, I'm not in a big habit of chasing people around if they want to sell things, but they just went off the map right away. So we'll see if they get us some information soon. I did present in the budget the mower, but I didn't have numbers for the other one. I had a number for the mower because we talked to them about an approximate number, but I got no idea what the other one.
That day there, he passed out his cards and stuff. I don't know. I think I still have mine at home, so I can get it.
I got his card. I'm just not chasing people. If they told me they're gonna get back to me in a week with numbers, I expect them to get back to me in a week with numbers.
High pressure sales, and I usually buy from them.
That just regarding the mower itself, the one thing I noted on that thing is compared to the other ones we're using, it just seems stronger. Blades seem bigger. It seems to create more, like I said, as it's pushing the grass out, it's just got
It puts the grass in the ditch. I don't put it on the road at all.
more power in how it seems to move stuff around. So, and I think a lot of that's just sized for the grader that way. And it seems very effective for sure. And I mentioned this, Larry, the other day, I went up and checked out a contractor doing work in Camrose County earlier this week and took a look at his operation. He's been bugging us for a little while to have a look at what he's doing, see if he gets some work here. They're doing similar work with a machine like that, and kind of like what we're doing on our rejuice, a bit of a hybrid, and a number of counties are doing things that way. But what I did notice is that they're grinding these shoulders up and they're pulling everything up, and it looks like they're pulling it up on top of the existing gravel, and they're spreading it all over the road. So you can visibly see all the straw, all the topsoil, and some rocks in it, obviously. So the road definitely needs to be gravelled afterwards, or needs to take some traffic so that in dry time, so that all that material that you didn't want to come up with it might get fugitive and blow away again. A little bit of traffic animating it again, kind of a thing. But they're getting very, very good shape. They did run a wobbly packer and a pad foot on it, but it didn't look like they were putting water into it. So what they were shaping and packing on the shoulders was the stuff that was on the shoulders in a mound. The worry I have about that particular method was you could end up with a very non-structural shoulder that could fall apart. It's going in dry, it's going in with just a bit of dry compaction, and it's not the best material. What we've done in a lot of cases is pull that material down into the ditch and eked over as far as we can with the graders and pulled in. And then taken anything we didn't want on the road, put that in the void and run it down the slope. They are doing a lot of their finishing work with a small dozer, and I think we talked about that before as well. So when I was up there, they were miles behind with the dozer, basically doing final trimming and whatnot. So, you know, similar to what you see in a lot of shoulder pull stuff. We had that Road Warrior out here years ago. And I think that was
As
a
long as
lesson
you were
in,
watching them, he was fine, yeah.
well, and that was a lesson in making sure that, you know, every little bit of road, you got to put a bit of logic on how far and how deep you go. You just can't set the thing and go. There's a lot of cases you're going to pull stuff up that you don't necessarily want. So, yeah, a lot of that's really programmed, but the implements they're using are a lot of that same stuff for the mulching up the shoulders. They're getting good results, good shape right now. They got some good gravel on that road, and for those roads I looked up in Camrose, they'll have a really good road for now until somebody cuts it down and grades lips and whatnot again. But I'm sure that's just a matter of managing it over time. So.
Well, this machine that we had down here does a heck of a job anyhow. Go ahead, Ernie.
I've also tried to contact Tracy. There wasn't any return call, but I'm gonna keep on hounding her.
I figured I'd give it till, you know, freeze up when I'm not busy doing everything else, and make a point of reminding her. She said she'd get back to me within a week. So.
I'll definitely keep on that also. But Rick, I enjoy quite much the way that you're approaching the roads. Like we've had so-called gravel suppliers in the past that wasn't really the quality there. And there's a lot of shit that's been in that gravel. I don't want to see that back up on the road. The last resort that you want to do is put it into the ditch, but that's going to be the best place instead of on the road. Do continue on.
And just anecdotally on that as well, I was, some of the early 1.5-inch stuff we did way down south in Dave's area early this year, we were still running around a 300 plus spread on that. And it got a little thick on the road, so we had a little bit of concern from the ratepayers because it's right in his main operation where he's driving all the time in a couple of farms there. So yesterday I took an 815 Packer down there and I ran that up and down the road, watered it, and Dustin gave it a light blading. Mellowed it right out.
Put it in the road where it's supposed to be. That's in my area. And yeah, because that, I think on a normal year, if we got any rain, I think it would have worked, but it didn't work.
Yeah, it's all about getting it incorporated, and that 815 was a easy button on getting it where it had to go. It made a big difference in.
It fixed the road. It's good.
Yeah, that piece up by Camrose is right up by one of the daughter's places. You can't compare moisture at Camrose this year to what we had. Like they had way more moisture than what we had. But she did, I said something about that road and taking pictures and that's a road that she travels quite a bit on. She said it did make it fairly rough, so there's got to still be some flaw, but it looks good. And I'll forward pictures to you fellas because that's Rick had talked to me and I said, well, I just took pictures up there the other day going by there. So it is definitely shaping the roads and hopefully they keep them in shape because that part looks good on them.
And every second road up there seems to have coarser gravel, 1.25 inches, close to 1.5 inches. I measured some of it up. If they ran that stuff on their reclaimed road and knit it in with that stuff, I think you're still going to get a bumpy, hard road because when you introduce strength into a road, it's only going to get bumpy unless you're paving it or something. But I think they'll get something out of it for sure. Just if you threw 3/4 on it, you'd probably see it disappear in a big hurry.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Moving on. Ben?
So yeah, so we actually, yesterday, we were back on the Balkan Drainage Project. That site is coming along very good. There's a few spots where the grass was light, and I think that might be because of the dry year, but to get out of this project looking good, we actually just seeded it yesterday. So first time we went through, we were seeding at 100 pounds to the acre. And then we just put a dressing on of about 50 pounds to the acre, getting those spots that just didn't get a catch yet. There wasn't many, but we covered the whole site. And So that's gonna get wrapped up. Hopefully the fencing was going in over the last day and a half or so. And Ryder Pit,
If I can cut in there. just-
Rick, go ahead. Cut in, I guess, if you want.
And related to that, I know there's areas that are unfinished out there. We're finishing up the areas that we've been allowed access to. There is still some area that's unfinished that the landowner hasn't given us access to finish the work
where's that at?
in Bluffton, right?
On the west side.
So we're doing all the finishing work where we've been given access, but obviously we haven't been able to finish up that side of the job yet, so.
Okay. Go ahead, Quentin, or Ernie, or where are we going here?
Mr. Chairman? Just a question. How long do we wait until there's enough complaints that we can just go ahead and clean the place up, reseed it, and bring it back to where it should be?
I'm not going in there till my boss says go in there.
Okay, well,
Which boss? Well, I'll go through this, but he has to go through someone else. That's the way it goes.
all right.
I'm not crossing that fence until someone tells me to.
The issue is that there's still material outside of the right of way that the contractor left out there when he got shut down, outside of our actual easement that we have. So in order to finish things, we can either work inside of our easement, bring fresh material in, or we can wait till there's some logic applied to it and we're able to use the material that was stripped off to put back in. But at some point, you know, the contractor left the material outside of the right of way, and there has to be an agreement to be able to go outside of the right of way in order to either get it out of there or reuse it. And that's what's holding us up right now.
Ernie?
Can we place up a sign stating like this is the finished product and what the county can achieve?
I think the site itself speaks for itself when you look at either side of it, personally. Some really nice work on the pond area and to the east for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you know, the little bit of rain we did get, there wasn't much for standing water on the property we have fixed up. It's all gone into that stormwater pond. Especially like a small area the size of wouldn't even be the size of a pickup truck. There was one small wet area. It's draining the way it should.
But maybe we would haul in material and fix it up, and the stuff that's off right away. I don't know. Larry?
Hey, just on that too, was, he never did accept the agreement to workspace that was offered to him? Is that correct?
Off the drainage.
Yeah, that'll be an Andrew question.
Correct. Okay, so it is, I know where Counselor, or Board Member Gender's coming from, because you drive by it and it does look like we just dropped the ball at the fence. And the other side does look so good, and people that think logically would probably figure that out, but it would be maybe something for in the future if we could put a sign up that this is the finished product.
And I could have had it all looking that way within 4 days of the word go kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Being dealt with. Go ahead.
As an adjoining property owner, can I put in a complaint for the unsightliness on his property?
Yeah. What kind of complaint are you putting in? A weed one, or just unsightly, or?
Unsightly.
Your premises.
Can I do it as a personal landowner adjoining?
We did notify the landowner that after our attempts to negotiate broke down or didn't result in anything, we indicated that we would still welcome a proposal from them on remediation, but that it couldn't be left in the current state as it would likely end up in a nuisance complaint. We weren't initiating that on our own at this point. Still trying to give some time for the landowner to propose a solution that he thinks may work, but thus far he rejected our attempts to remediate and compensate.
So could I, after the meeting, represent myself and go and make a complaint?
You can't represent yourself. Nobody can represent you.
No, nobody can represent me?
Let's be clear, there's unsightly premises. There's conflicts under the Soil Conservation Act, there's conflicts under the Alberta Weed Act. There's lots that can be done out there. I'm holding off myself, same thing, until things have smoothed over, because I'm trying not to cause more issues right now.
Yeah, we haven't wanted to go in with a heavy hammer and look like we're just trying to bully him around. I mean, we got out there and right away I've had apologized up and down for anything happening, outside of the easement or in a way he wasn't expecting. And, we were trying to fix it right away. But the list of compensation kind of kept going up. So we pulled it back and we brought it to our lawyers to review the contract that was in place. And they proposed some solutions. We actually upped what we offered from what the lawyers proposed. The landowner came back asking for more, and we did offer some of that as well. But ultimately, we weren't able to reach an agreement. And so, yeah, now we're really sitting in limbo.
But the price that he wanted was totally ridiculous. But carry on. Go ahead, Gary.
There's one there, he has drugged me into the Facebook of what I had done as a contractor in Gadsby. So I just look at it, it's kind of tit for tat on this one here. For me being a landowner across, I wouldn't mind at all going to face with it.
I think maybe, Mr. Gender, it would be prudent for you just to let sleeping dogs lie on that for right now.
Oh, I've got to start.
I know you have a memory then that will not die. So I would just leave it alone at that for now, and that'd be my advice. Let's some due course take its action here and see where we end up in another. I know. I'm trying to give you some fatherly advice. Wayne, you should be the father.
Fatherly advice now. Okay, now we're going to go to the elder.
Mr. Chairman, because I'll be retiring this next month.
You said you retired?
I'm gonna come up with some kind of a complaint against the county, and I'm gonna demand 10 flats of beer and a bottle of lemon heart rum.
Make a complaint about me.
Lemon heart rum to start out with.
Then I'll invite everybody in to help me drink it.
Oh, you bet.
Well, I think it's time that we digress, Mr. Chairman.
I think we better carry on here. We're getting way off track. Go ahead. You got more stuff, I know.
Yeah, so we're doing some work at the rider pit. We had doing some spraying for some small ants that came in. And, we're just trying to get better grass coverage on some of the drier stuff. The bridge replacement projects last year are looking good. Obviously, they need moisture to get that grass to kick into high gear. Something not in here, there's some pictures to follow. We assisted the town with the skate park. Once they did their cement work and topsoil work, we went in there with the hydro seeder and got that all planted up. We still have some control work on some gravel pits and stockpile sites as the weather allows us. And the next thing is our Central Region Ag Service Board Conference hosted by Camrose County in Bashaw on November 3. We don't know if it's still going to be hosted in Bashaw. It may be hosted in this room. We'll find out. Other than that, the timely report, 40 out of 69 municipalities have declared a state of agriculture disaster. So that's 60%, 58% of the province.
58%?
58% is crying help.
That's high, eh?
That's pretty high.
Big number.
Only 1 year so far is higher than that, and that was 2002. And I had that stat in my head. I don't remember how many declared then, but it was in the 90s. Workshops, stocking trees with Toso. We'll have to add a couple of dates. We had 10 webinars set up. The county had to cancel one because there was a fire that we all went to, and then he had to cancel one because he was stuck up north. But we still have 3 left to do.
Mr. Chairman?
Just on that, I think we should probably try and promote it because it is on our YouTube as a file, and I can't make the times, but I have been watching, and I have some questions. I don't know where the best to send them to you directly.
Email it to me. You'll watch every webinar. You hear me get on there and say you can text me, you can email me, you can phone me at the beginning.
It must be at the end.
It's in there sometimes, sometimes at the end.
I'm listening to Toso more than.
Give me the questions for sure, and I can ask those questions. Absolutely.
But I'm watching this after the fact.
Doesn't matter.
Okay.
Someone watched series 1 about this. they had a question and we'll pop right to it.
Awesome. If anybody's out there, I mean, if you're talking to your ratepayers, this is a phenomenal opportunity for them. I can't express enough. Even your friends in the town of Stettler or anywhere, you have an opportunity to bend the ear of Toso about trees.
Specialist, he knows everything.
This guy is, I just don't think people understand
The quality of
the information you're getting. This guy, he's probably forgot more about trees than pretty much anybody else will know. And he's quite funny to watch.
And yeah, he's got a nice accent.
We're co-hosting some events with Stettler Ag Society on regenerative farming. Water well workshop we have on November 2. That one is online. Septic system awareness. September 20, September 21, September 22. So get on there and follow along.
What's on YouTube too?
Yeah.
You know, you can go
Um,
watch it later.
No, that's on a Zoom. That's on Zoom.
Zoom?
Somebody else is doing all the IT behind that, so I don't have control, but I'm gonna try and get a file after that we can put on our site. The ladies livestock clinic, we're gonna hold off and figure out how we're gonna do that if we go ahead with something online, because we won't be able to put in person. It's too big of a crowd, it'll be indoors. But we're gonna try and push some of those things into some type of a webinar and just try to keep pushing forward with that awareness, right? That education you guys want. Other than that, there's some pictures, but that is my report. You see
And we need
the work stuff there. You see we did some work up at Baby Extension. You'll see there's some pictures like page 8 of 67. This is some of the stuff that we're revisiting, some of our where you got half a tree that's been burnt. We have to wait for it to die off to see what was missed. So that's the type of stuff we're going back after. You'll see the club root sample on page 9. The picture is a little bit, I think the word is pixelated, but that is a positive sample from our field this year. Some white cockle, good stuff. I hate that stuff. I hate that guy who likes it.
Wayne made a motion to. Yeah, no.
Except
Except to, go ahead, Wayne.
I move that we accept Whitman's report.
Yep. All in favor? Carried. Moving on. We got no new business, our business arising from the minutes.
I toyed with the idea of putting the strat plan back in new business or just information items. I'm leaving it here until we've done our work with the budget and whatnot. Then it'll go back in for discussion. I'm just leaving it on the agenda for you guys.
To look through?
Yeah.
Okay. New business, no?
And there again, new business or information, 10.3, Mr. Stuhlberg had a point he wanted to bring up.
Right.
I was approached by a trapper in my area. Well, he doesn't live in my area, but he's trapped in our area down there in the county, and I think throughout the county for about 8 years. But anyways, his request is, he was just wondering if he could get a permit to trap on the county right away, because you can really notice that this year as all the sloughs are drying up, how muskrat runs are going right into the county roads and stuff. And of course, when they're trapping, they see this and they're trapping in the slough anyway. So, and he traps, I believe, in Camrose County, where they do have, I think that's the one where they have the system in place where they can get a permit from the municipality to trap, where the slough goes into the county right away and butts with the roadway. So he asked if I could bring it up to see if this county would be interested in doing something similar. And so he's thinking it's sort of a win for everybody if you can get the muskrats out of the roads. And so basically, that's why I asked Ben if we could get it on the agenda, just for some discussion, and if it's something that we want to look further into, I mean, it's something that we could do more next year probably, but I guess it's just a starting point.
If I could, a little background information.
Go ahead.
This came up, probably about 10 years ago. Somebody from I think it was the Gadsby area, if I remember, had asked about trapping in the right of way. And then our roadside mowers destroyed some traps. So we have nothing saying they can or cannot trap in our right of way. But I've denied access to trapping in the right of ways because we have wrecked traps in the summer. And then we were afraid with our wings on the graders in the winter of wrecking traps. But that's whatever you guys want to do.
Ernie, you're up.
So they're looking at trapping them in the summertime?
Well, I'm not sure when he wants to trap.
Most of the time, the hides are prime in the spring, and then in the summertime, they're no.
But we still have rotary mowers running our ditches, right?
The heights aren't any good until later on. I'm just saying. Is this going to be a revenue cost sharing with the county to repair roads?
Make your permit. And do you have to be a registered trapper to do it?
You would absolutely, because it's public land, you have to register trapper.
So you don't really, because I had a permit for it when I was a kid in the county of Stettler and.
On your land or on public?
On the county land. I figured we'd get around to this eventually. I was old enough to drive, and that's it. That's all I had was a driver's permit and the county, because they had quite a problem, but I haven't got a slough that I know there's rot in anywhere near my place now. They're all dry. But anyhow, Sheree, you're up.
Could we have them sign out like a hold harmless agreement or something?
I'm sure we can figure something out.
If you guys want to allow it, I'll come up with some kind of a system.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like the administration to bring
Bring it back.
some sort of policy
That way you're gonna do, Larry?
Look at it.
To allow or to not allow?
to allow.
What it looks like.
That was just what I was gonna say. I think.
Yeah, he was saying thing.
To bring back what we can do to allow.
What we can do.
It helps the roads, it helps us.
That's right.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Wayne.
Mr. Chairman, I was just thinking, it's along the same lines too, that if you had sort of like the fishing shacks that sometimes don't get taken away, but they have to be gone by a certain time of year, or, you know, they get wrecked by the moors, Well,
But even
kind
in
of
the
thing.
winter time, like our grader wings are always pushing snow back, right?
I think if they get wrecked, they get wrecked. It's like when you you have a whole harmless and they come in my yard and if they hit something.
If they want to trap, they'll figure out a way to work around it.
Yeah.
I find trappers to be quite smart. They're very much have a lot of ingenuity that they can figure that out.
And most of them traps would be down in a rut, run along the bottom of the ditch or someplace like that, or.
They wouldn't be near the shoulder at all, I doubt.
So you're gonna bring it back. That's what we're gonna do with it. Carry on.
We need to vote on
Oh, okay. You have to make the motion.
it. I did.
You made the motion that they're gonna take it back to Quentin and he's gonna bring us back with the resolution or whatever. All in favor? Carried. No, carrying right along. Financial?
Page 19, we have the report cards. Guys have any questions on that or not?
Any questions on the financial?
Not now, because November 3, we'll be doing a regional conference.
Is it?
Move the financial.
Just Mr. Chairman, a comment on these report cards. There's, we met last, I don't know, it was last month, but the last time we met was with Minister Nixon to go over some of the resolutions that AEP hadn't responded to, so to speak, to some of them. So I think that was probably noted in some of the comments on this, but it seems like it's an ongoing thing. And then there's, I noticed on there's also something that the resolutions remain active for 5 years, and after that time, the provincial committee no longer advocates for those, for the decisions. So just a comment. Three.
Just a question through to Wayne. Did you get anywhere with that strychnine request, that resolution with the government?
They will be advocating for that. Because it's just like it's just last year's resolution, so they will continue to do that, and we continue to do that every time we meet with a deputy minister or a minister. So it's an ongoing thing, so I suppose by the time 3 or 4 years has gone by, there'll be pressure from somebody to change something, so.
Well, and I think we're gonna see a lot of different changes across the province for different ag service boards as well too. I mean, you have a number of our member and municipalities that seem to be having some wholesale changes. I mean, I can think of 4 municipalities directly around us that are completely changing, if not, the majority are changing, like Noel County, Macomb County, Red Deer County, they're all having some major changes. And that's just by retirement, not anything to do with the election, so.
So I mean, they can all certainly advocate for a change or for to keep strychnine, but it all comes down to it's a federal decision, federal body that makes that decision. It was the MRA or something like that, but that makes these decisions, and they've got a lot of influence from other people and rural people, so that's the problem. That's where animal rights and all that kind of thing, so.
Anybody else? Not? Provincial conference report card on resolutions.
Receive for information.
Yeah, well, I think we need a motion to receive all this for information. James will give me that. All in favor? Moving right along. Committee reports, blah, blah, blah. None?
Mr. Chairman,
Go ahead. You got one, Wayne? Okay.
I just emailed one to everybody yesterday, just a Clean Farms one, just a kind of an update,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah. Anybody got any questions on the Clean Farms thing? Nope. All right. Committee reports, I guess.
That's it.
Well, we could receive your Clear Farms thing for information too, I guess. Wayne, make the motion. All in favor? Carried.
I want to tell Marlene that that's what we did.
And then, yeah.
Was that filled out as a motion?
No, it's a report from Clean Farms that Wayne gave a sent to all of us.
Emailed it out.
He emailed it all out to us, Marlene.
I'll forward it,
It'll be make up.
part of the package, and we just received it for information.
Who did that?
Wayne did.
Wayne did it. Bernie?
Page 10 of the resolutions.
Like they're right there, very
Bottom, okay, the second paragraph up, I recognize that weed control on oil and gas site remain an important concern for ASS. So should we kind of correct them that we're not a bunch of asses, that we are ASB?
Where are you at, Ernie?
On page 10, page 29 to 67, be the resolution 1-21. Second paragraph up at the bottom.
From the response from Alberta Energy.
Yes.
That was somebody else talking about us. We have no control on what they say.
It's
Just
Correct them.
typing error on their part. Should maybe leave it in there so that they know that that's what we did.
Capitalized it.
Mr. Chairman, a lot of
Yep,
these
go ahead.
things,
When you're discussing the resolution response from the various government entities, it's kind of tough to know what to do, because they give a response and the response maybe says nothing. And it's maybe you gotta say whether it's incomplete or whether you accept the response. So if it's a response that you don't like, you still might have to accept it as, or accept in principle. There's different ways you can accept it, but it's, sometimes it's not that easy and it's not satisfactory.
The next meeting, we gonna switch it to the 24th of November? When, or, no, it says
We're
November.
gonna have, the next meeting is October 24th. Because we are meeting November 3, which is within like 3 days of our Ag Service Board meeting. Unless you guys still want to meet on the,
Unless we have a resolution, there's no use meeting, I don't think.
No, but if we have a resolution, maybe we can meet that, or,
Yeah, and unfortunately, or fortunately, I'm not sure, however you want to put that, we may have a different crew on the 24th come forward.
good.
So, yeah, hard to say.
Plans. So anyhow, that'll be the next meeting, will be on the 24th then,
What do you need, twice?
of November.
Oh,
Unless,
3rd of November will be the next meeting, and it'll be a regional meeting, and then
regional meeting, and then, well, yeah, but that's a regional meeting, not a regular meeting. The next regular meeting will be the 24th of November. Everybody in favor of that?
25, okay.
25?
25?
Your,
That's the one?
your organizational meeting?
Okay. Go ahead.
Sorry, I just.
Go ahead, Nick.
I'm trying. There we go. I just overheard you're maybe not having the next meeting. And so the one following that is RMA Convention Week in November, so you should reset your November meeting as well.
Okay. We'll bring it up a week. Go ahead, and how's that?
I'll figure out some dates and we'll get something sent out.
to be announced, call by chair
By Gilman.
or vice chair.
Vice chair. What?
No,
No,
you're gonna be here.
yeah, you're in.
Well, just say the call of the chair because
Call it.
Chair. When, we'll just leave it in the minutes, just call it the chair.
Okay.
Moving on. Seminars, you went through that already? In camera?
I have nothing.
Okay.
jumping my, no, I have nothing, no,
Oh, you want adjournment?
because I'm thinking we're getting close. I'll move we adjourn this meeting.
All in favor? We're out of here.
A bit of a shorter meeting. I thought the senator coming